Dziękuję. First of all, thank you EKIR 2024 and thanks to friends of Akademia Krakowska that invited me to present today. I'm a professor of the Department of Architecture of University of Palermo, where I teach architectural and urban design. And today I will show you some projects that we do with our students, like a final degree, master degree project. I think that you translate something like this. And our students, and we have a group, a research group that is composed by Professor Margagliotta, me, and then other 3 PhD students that work on heritage. So this first picture is just to remember that Sicily, our island, it is still in the center of Mediterranean Sea, and we have a huge, great stratification in our culture and also in our heritage, and that in a certain way our history is strictly linked to ruins. Because even in the 18th centuries, in the 19th centuries, many architects came from the north of Europe, like for the Grand Tour, came to Sicily also to study and to visit Greek architecture, but actually there were Greek ruins. And also our history is full of ruins because another problem, we have a lot of earthquakes, and our history is also signed by those tragical events. Last one was in 1968, and after this earthquake, many architects from all around Europe came to Sicily to work with ruins, like this picture that you see, like Portuguese master Álvaro Siza Vieira, that reconstructs a mother church, transforming in a civic square. It's not still a church. It's a square right now. Or, for example, another architect, Francesco Venezia, that worked with the topic of fragments, and he moves pieces of a palace that was collapsed because of the earthquake, and he moved to another building and to another place, even to another city, and work with this kind of stratification. This was like an introduction for. Of course, those kind of projects represent for us a kind of clear and strong tradition of working with ruins, working with history, working with fragments. And this is introduction for some project that I will show you. First group, those 4 projects are linked to the UNESCO heritage that we have in the city of Palermo, the capital of the region of Sicily. We have this strong and visible heritage with some problems. As you see, this anthropic pressure is one of the problem of UNESCO heritage. I mean, the architecture. This is the case of the Zisa Palace. Of course, is very well maintained, very well conserved, as UNESCO obligated us to do. But just around the building, all the context is in ruin. So our project proposed to work just on the. I can do it. Okay. Not to work on the building itself, but to work around in other buildings that are not UNESCO. And we arrange again the garden of the building, putting again the water that is a kind of typical element of this kind of architecture. That those palaces used to stay in the middle of an artificial lake in history. We know because of some paintings, and so we put again the memory of the water, and then we work on the side to put ticket offices, to put services, and to create new paths, new promenades to get like new entrance to the building, and also to admire architecture and landscape in a new way. This other project is on Cuba Palace. Right now, this is not in the list of UNESCO heritage, but it's Norman architecture, Arabic Norman architecture, sorry. Today, it's not visible because it's involved in this courtyard that is closed. And so with our project, we think again to put again a memory of the water, typical of this architecture, and then to work on the sides of courtyard, on these ruined buildings, putting some exhibition spaces and also cultural and educational spaces. This was another project on the Royal Palace of Altofonte. It's a small city just out of Palermo in the surroundings. And this is really peculiar project because the Royal Palace is here, but you don't see it because it's covered by dense, really dense stratification. And the palace is still used, but somewhere there is an house, somewhere there is a garage, somewhere there is office. So you live there, you don't know that it's the Royal Palace. You see maybe the dome, the cupola, but you don't know that it's the Royal Palace. So our project was to liberate the heritage and to make it visible and also accessible, because we work on all this part of the city to make pedestrian accessible, and then to put memory of the water. That was really, again, a great topic in this part of the city. So you see, we also think to put new promenades and to elevators and new paths, and this is a view of the rediscovered Royal Palace. In other cases, like this palace, the name is Uscibene. It was outside of Palermo, inside a great natural park. But today you find this ruined building just close to a big traffic road, and with some memory of the park, and inside this low quality construction that you can see here. Even there is an house built on a wall of this ruined building. So in this case, project try to solve the question of heritage, being like building a limit, building a boundary between this not ordered development of I don't know if development is the right word. I mean, this disorder that is on this side, taking into account the heritage, and fix a limit to the expansion, opening to this natural park, to the memory of this natural park. So a building work around the heritage and build like a wall. This you can see in this section. Here is the city. This is the ruined building, and then we imagine this project that is also like a wall, inhabited wall, and also in some way cut the geography and build a memory of ancient landscape in Palermo. Then the second group of projects are again master degree projects, and maybe the topic of ruin is even more visible in this case. We worked a lot with castles, as you hear. And for what I understood, because I'm not sure I understood a lot, but I think that some problems are like common. For example, this is the case of the castle in Cefaladiana. This is in internal area of Sicily. Castle, by principle, are built in complicated places and not so accessible places. So this kind of heritage, when you have to think how to work on it, we have to think how to get to those places. So the project is a path. Like we think that we could design just a car park down and then build a new path and with some platforms, and this path going inside the castle. You can see here maybe this castle is totally in ruin. Just the tower it's restored, and we imagine to walk in, to move into the ruin. In this way, I mean, to create a very specific promenade to bring people to very specific points of heritage and to see and to build a new landscape. This another project is a bit more wide. Because it's in the city of Selinunte, famous because we have on this side a big archaeological park, a Greek with Greek temples, also in ruin, of course. And on the other side of the city, we have a natural reserve. So this project used this line that already exists because it's abandoned railway that now is not used. So we use the trace of the railway to bring people moving from the natural reserve when you can go to the beach side here. We also designed some services for the beach, and then we move through the city till this point. We designed a new square where right now there's just a parking. And we connect this part of the city to another point that is the original access to archaeological park that were built in 1981, and this right now is not used because because it was really a good project, really modern heritage, but it was totally open. So today, if you have to pay the tickets, they don't feel this comfortable. So, but we wanted to to work also with modern heritage. So this project was like linking different kind of heritage or ruins. The other case is the castle of Misilmeri. In this case, this castle is placed in the middle of the city, but of course on a hill, and has a really particular condition because have half of the tower, half. I don't know how it's possible that it's still not collapsed, but it's working like this. So we imagine to rearrange all the way to get in the castle. We imagine to build again the other half of the castle, like this. This is the actual condition, and this is the project. You see, we add this entrance. We create a new space here for theater or for concert, and we create here the other half of the tower. And other projects, another castle, a castle of Collesano, also is inside the city, and you can find this really massive and great walls of the castle, of the ancient castle, with this ideal square form. So we decided to, enlight again the square to build another piece here inside, and also to use it again those buildings that were built on the castle, on the wall of the castle. So we decide to rebuild with modern language the rest of those two towers, and then this is the square that you saw before in plan. And it's again a kind of promenade. You can go on and from this point of view, watching the landscape outside of the castle, but you also can watch inside the castle where this covered space, like in shadow, you can have concerts and other kind of activities, again inside the ruin. The castle of Castronovo di Sicilia, it's really like geometric center of our island. You see here ruin of the castles, and the city just develop on one side of the mountain. And in this city already exists a path that go up to the mountain, but just stop here. So we decided to build a new promenade, going till the end, to the more the highest points of the mountains, and like we just managed to have path according to the topography, and then we rebuilt some walls and some roofs. This is the case of the Norman church that is inside the castle. We just stay here, and you can get in the church through this point, but you cannot go down because there are tombs digged inside. So, and we don't want to mix with archaeology. And we also built some roof where there was a tower in this kind of way, just like linking and merging different kind of stratification. Last two projects, this one is the Church of Santa Maria del Bosco. Bosco, I think it's in Polish is quite the same. Bosco is like woods. Hmm? Las? Okay. Okay, Santa Maria Las, of the Las. You can see it's a monastery, was a monastery. This part of the monastery is private now and is still used for like wedding parties, celebration. But the church is in ruin, and as you can see, they miss a part of the church. So we work just around to rearrange the entrance to the church, but we wanted to keep the church like it is right now, without roof, without a side. And we composed an ecclesia sine tetto, no? It's another new church, but without roof, and a new chapel here that is this just a cube cladded in alabastro. This is this transparency that link the space, the sacred space, to the bosco again, to the bosco, and this it's look like this. And also, this is the idea of what could be the church, the new church. Also, we think that it's good to maintain the scaffolding of that right now exists. Last project is this is the castle of Inici. It's really interesting because it's like the stratification of this castle is really visible, because here is like the ancient part that is Roman, Arabian foundation. Then you have a tower. No, there was a tower. Now this is a new one that we propose. Norman tower. Then you have a first courtyard that is built around a water well that was built by Spanishes. And then another courtyard built by Jesuits. Okay. So this kind of courtyard is like agricultural production because of Jesuits. So we work on the entire castle and just recovering some part, building some new other parts, and decide to maintain those three different piece of project, like to maintain visible this difference. As you can see, the tower is not like a defensive tower right now. It's just a belvedere point of view, and then we managed to conserve something and to build something new like the tower, as I told. And inside, we even decided to not restore some floors and to use the space as like a museum of itself. This is kind of, I wrote post-elaborated architectural terms. I mean, we don't knew this. We discovered after many projects, we discovered that maybe those are the strategies, those are the topics of our research. I will just talk about the last two, elaborating a dialogue with ancient architecture and as stratification. We think that we have to work on ruins as another layer of history, as another stratification, not making new building. And then the last one, utility instead of functionality. That I think that someone was talking about this before. I prefer utility of functionality. You see those kind of heritage in the middle of rural area. It's really hard to find a function to those buildings. But I think that architecture, those ruins are useful. So utility instead of functionality. I don't believe that we need to strictly found a new function for these ruins. And then just for conclusion, to talk about those three authors, I recently discovered this American one, Jackson, that wrote this essay, The Necessity of Ruins. Yes, I'm closing. He wrote, ruins provide the incentive for the restoration and for return to origins. The old order has to die before there can be a born-again landscape. I think it's really interesting. And Franco Purini, in this essay, Il Nuovo e tre forme dell'antico, he analyzes the ruin in Vitruvian terms. So he wrote that ruin it's an architecture. It was an architecture that lost firmitas and lost utilitas. So your ruin is just venustas. It's just beauty, and beauty is this part of architecture that is able to give us an impulse to the future. And last, Francesco Venezia, we saw a project before. Talk about the separazione fatale, the fatal separation between archaeology and architecture. Because sometimes we put heritage, we put ruins inside a fence, and it's just archaeology, and architecture cannot work on it. So this is like infecunda. I mean, no, sterile. It cannot produce nothing. And Francesco Venezia wrote that ruins are buildings that lose something. When they lose something like utility, they lose functionality, but gain universality. So ruins are not something that belong to the past, just to the past, but also belong to our present landscape. And I think that ruins contain in themselves some roots for the future. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.